Every day after I leave the warehouse where we make our soap, I take a 30-minute trip to get some work done. I bring my laptop, I find a seat at my favorite cafe and order an espresso. The thing is, I can do that anywhere, but I kept finding myself here. Then one afternoon, I walked past an empty storefront on this same street and something stopped me. Most people know Winter Park as a nice place to shop. It has great restaurants and pretty streets. But when you start reading the actual history, you realize that this place was designed from the very beginning to feel like an escape. Two men from New England, Loring Chase and Oliver Chapman, came to this small piece of land back in the 1880s. Florida back then was rough. It was mostly swamp and scrub. They bought 600 acres for $13,000, but their plan was not to build a factory town. Their plan was to build a winter refuge for people who valued a peaceful and slower way of life. They knew that the air you breathe, the pace you keep, and your surroundings matter. That was the vision they had 140 years ago. And when I learned that, it all made sense. People always say that this street reminds them of New York or Boston. And they're right. Chase and Chapman didn't just bring their money, they brought their blueprint. The walkable blocks, the small storefronts close together, the greenery woven into everything, the parks sitting right alongside the commerce. They were building a better version of where they came from in a place that was warmer and where the weather wouldn't fight them. And Winter Park is still that same place they built when they first arrived. Right now they're actually tearing up parts of the sidewalk to update the streetlights, but they are not modernizing the design. It's still traditional and true to its origin. Park Avenue remains unchanged. You don't see big hotel developments here. You don't see chains pushing out the independently owned businesses. Winter Park has spent 140 years making a very deliberate choice. Where most cities change with time and lose what makes them special, Winter Park protects what it has. That's why people drive from all over Florida to walk these streets, because of that choice. The action that happens on these small streets is critical to the final product. The ingredients to your freshly made pasta were received here this morning. The trash that was cleared from your table funneled back here to be discarded. When emergency vehicles need to get to the other side of town quickly, you see them drive past here. There's something pleasing about watching how a well-run city works. When you start to notice this, you start to think differently about how cities are built today. This is Rollins College, Florida's first college, founded in 1885, and it was intentionally designed with Park Avenue. Rollins and Winter Park grew up together, and to this day, they're connected at the hip. This college didn't just educate its students and send them packing. The graduates typically stayed. They were the ones who would take the baton and continue to bring commerce, wealth, and arts here. They built businesses, institutions, held offices, and contributed to the neighborhood. They shaped what the city would become. Our business was already running and we were shipping soap all over the country. We didn't need a physical storefront, and I wasn't looking for one. But one day, I walked past this sign that said available for lease, and I just stood here. Now having a physical storefront made sense only if it was right here. Most commercial strips are just addresses next to other addresses. People running their own thing, indifferent to everything around them. This is a community, not a shopping district. When the people setting the tone for commerce in a city actually care what the city feels like, it trickles down. When our store opened up, we were welcomed by the entire block. We built a brand with the belief that the traditional way is right. We make soap using ingredients that humans have used for thousands of years. We're home, and our home has spent the last 140 years honoring its own history. Tradition is what Healthy Soul and Park Ave have in common. If you have never been to Winter Park, you should come. It's quiet, the air is clean, the people watching is great, the stores are unique, and you can feel the rich history as you walk down the avenue. So come when it calls you and stay as long as you like. You'll always be welcome here at Healthy Soul.